Welcome to Tusi TV, your global news channel. I'm Maya Tusi, and this is your latest news update from the United Kingdom. Yes, tensions continue to escalate in the UK as the anti-migrant protests and riots in Northern Ireland continued for the fourth night in a row. Something that started in Ballymena has now reached other cities and towns, including Portadown. So we're going to talk about all this. There's a number of videos that we have for you guys. This is an ongoing situation tonight. Some of the videos are actually from a couple of hours ago. The police presence is huge. They have already tried to control some of the parts of the central parts, but of course the angry locals are already attacking the police, the PSNI. It's absolutely chaotic as usual. The lack of reaction from the UK government, Keir Starmer, apart from his initial statement, we haven't really seen much. They are simply relying on the fact that Northern Ireland and the devolved administration should be in charge of the crackdown. It's not going too well. They are not addressing the real issues. They continue to label every single person as a racist far-right thug. So, protests that began in Ballymena have now reached Portadown and other places as well. Of course, this started because of the two sexual assaults that happened by migrants on teenage girls. Let's go to the first video from tonight. Now, if you guys remember earlier in the week when we started having the initial protests in Ballymena, which also resulted in riots, it escalated quickly on the first night because, of course, the angry locals decided to set fire to one of the migrant houses. The same trend has been going on for the past couple of nights in general. Now, as we said, this is the fourth night that we are seeing these protests in Northern Ireland. And there's a couple of statements, I believe, coming in from PSNI, which we'll get to. Let's go to the next video from about an hour ago. Now, of course, just like what happened over the last few months in the Republic of Ireland, where the Protestants and Catholics actually united for the first time, we are seeing the same thing in the UK. In Northern Ireland, we've also seen some unity between the Catholic side and the Protestant side, putting aside the historic clashes and getting together, because if both sides, some people from both sides, if they are still patriotic, if they still care about their land and their communities and their neighborhood, of course, they have to, at least for now, unite against the common enemy. And the common enemy is not necessarily one person or one group. There are also ideas. There's also a level of governance or lack of governance. So when it comes to the UK government, open border policies. When it comes to the UK government's betrayal of Northern Ireland by leaving it inside the European Union while the rest of the UK left, we also have the issue of mass migration. You also have the issue of not vetting people's backgrounds when they go to Northern Ireland. You also have an issue with multiculturalism without actually promoting the common set of values that people have in the United Kingdom. This is what you get. And of course, the authorities and the governments and the devolved administration in Northern Ireland, they are not addressing the real issues. They continue to, as I said, call everybody, even if they just march, even if they just protest, and I'm going to show you some of the videos of just people protesting, they just call everybody a violent racist thug. And this is just going to make things worse. You saw what happened last summer in England. Now you're going to see the same thing in Northern Ireland. And again, don't mess with people in Northern Ireland. If you think people in England lost their mind when they lost their temper and their patience, people in Northern Ireland, their patience is running out. And this is the whole point. Let's quickly go to the next video. This is the police, what's it called? It's called the police service in Northern Ireland, PSNI. Should be police force, lashing out at protesters before it turned into riots, just protesters, and threatening to pepper spray them. on the street. Let's quickly go to the next clip.
Everybody, go ahead. Whoa, whoa, whoa. That's unnecessary, man. I'm going home. I'm going home, boys. You're going to pepper me? You're going to pepper spray me because I want to go home? Go ahead. You're going to pepper spray me you're going to pepper spray me because I want to go home, bro. It's over there. Scumbags.
Now, a lot of people are now worried. Some of the people with from the migrant backgrounds, they left their areas in Ballymena already, but obviously their tensions have now reached Portadown, which again, it simply means that the police, by the way, they have extra powers in Northern Ireland compared to the rest of the UK, including the usage of water cannons, and they can easily use pepper sprays even freely compared to the Metropolitan Police, for example, in London. Now, the police in other parts of Portadown are trying their best to control the crowd in general. Not really sure how well this will end, but of course, a lot of people are just out there protesting and marching. They don't want to give up the fight. For those who want to believe the propaganda from the mainstream media, that people right now in the United Kingdom, whether you're talking about England or Northern Ireland, England last summer, Southport, and now Northern Ireland, if you want to believe their propaganda that everybody you see and everybody you don't see is violent and is racist and is somehow ideologically far right, you don't know anything about the people of the United Kingdom. People in this country, in this kingdom, have been more patient and more tolerant than most other countries. And actually I would include the lovely Canadians. Canada is also too tolerant, too liberal. But people in the UK have been very, very, very patient with everything that's been happening in the UK over the last few decades. Now, you can talk about the crisis of grooming gangs. You could talk about the level of Islamic terrorism. You could talk about the betrayal, everything that's happened, general mass migration. These problems, by the way, go back to the 80s and 90s onwards. If these people of this kingdom were automatically by default, every single one of them was far right and racist, you would have had angry, violent riots every single day over the last 2-3 decades. But you haven't. People have been patient, and as I said, perhaps at times too tolerant. But there is a limit, and the limit, we've reached it. It's time for the establishment, it's time for the Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, to listen to the concerns of people. It's time for the devolved administration in Northern Ireland, the little bit of this existence, to do something to address the problems. It's time for the police establishments to take things seriously. We know what's been happening. We know about the sexual assault cases. We know that there are also thousands of other cases, grooming cases and everything else that you've been ignoring because apparently you don't have the resources. But you have the resources to arrest every single person who's posting controversial things on social media. Now, the police in Northern Ireland, they started to obviously use the batons already before even things completely kicked off. Watch.
Not about to be peaceful anymore. There, he's the button out already, boy. He's fucking king. Right, guys, get in the cordon here. Cordon! Here we go, boys.
Again, this clip was also from about an hour ago, an hour and a half ago, but we are also waiting for more updates. Now, in other parts of Portadown, the police already decided to close off the areas. There were some members of the public who were coming out to protest, and they were just observing the situation, because even though the other parts were completely, they lost control of, especially on the side roads where we showed you the angry reaction. But this video shows in the central parts, they've taken control. Well, on the plus side, they don't have their mountain bikes like the Seattle police. That, if you watched the previous live stream, we were talking about the situation in the United States, but those are different type of riots. Those are pro-migration, pro-illegal migration riots in the United States. But this sort of chaos that we are seeing, and of course the riot police are already prepared. Well, the riot gear of the police, they are getting ready. We also have the Union flags out by some of the angry locals. This will continue. This is the 4th day in a row, and the establishment tonight, because they were told that it's not just going to be in Ballymena, they had a feeling that it's going to get to Portadown because it's happened before in those areas. So they took a lot of their resources, including the helicopters and everything else, to that town. And we actually have I believe, the next clip with the helicopters and everything else. Heavy police presence as expected on the 4th night. But again, let's not underestimate people in Northern Ireland. They've always protected their communities, and they will continue to do so, just like their neighbours, the Republic of Ireland. If you make these people angry, you will regret it. Now, they are obviously the police are under immense pressure in both towns, and the protesters obviously are, as I'm hearing now, more of them are coming out. I think we have a couple of more videos from the current ongoing situation in where are we with this? There we go. From Northern Ireland. Let's go. Oh, this is, I think we've seen this. Despite the heavy rain as well, people are still out. Now, while we wait for more information, let's get some reaction from you guys, especially if you are watching this from Northern Ireland. Russell, thank you very much for your super chat saying, "Search No Kings." They are doing nationwide protests in the UK and the US on Saturday, warning to everyone. Yeah, Saturday, keep an eye on Saturday, especially. Ivan says, this will not end well for PSNI. That's the police service in Northern Ireland. Let's go to the members of, actually there's another super chat, then we'll go to the members of 2CTV Plus. We got Nomad saying, that's why some countries strictly monitor some ideologies, so things don't escalate to this level. Wherever this ideology goes, civil unrest follows. And ironically, we claim in the West, especially in the UK, that we are a complete liberal and free society. That's what the establishment claims, which means they claim to not really monitor ideologies. They will just monitor bad action, right? I mean, especially after what happened in the US with communism, the witch hunt and everything else. So they say it's probably best just allow communists to express their opinions. That's just one example. We're not just talking about problem with communism, but also Islam, right? But they claim that they don't. They claim that, we are just a liberal society and everybody is allowed to do whatever. But they are monitoring those who are patriotic. They are monitoring those who are nationalists. They are monitoring those who believe in their own flags. And they keep a very, very focused eye on every single person. You've seen in England when it comes to Tommy Robinson and many others in general. Now, if things keep going the way they are, the governments of Northern Ireland and the UK are going to get a history lesson, and it won't be pretty. Yes, of course, it's the devolved administration in Northern Ireland, but yep. I support freedom. Love you, 2C. Go freedom. Yes. All right, let's go to the members of 2C TV Plus, and then we'll go back to some of the super chats and non-super chats. Where are you guys? Okay, so if you want to be a member of 2C TV Plus and get access to the chat forum, documentaries, and of course download the app, we're still doing my birthday week special. So use the promo code 2C37 to get 37% off annual memberships of 2C TV Plus by going directly on 2c.tv, the website. The link is also in the description, and download the 2C TV app for free. Okay, so where are you guys with the members? What's happening here? All right, first things first. Scrolls away. Says, this goes to show how angry people are if the Republicans and loyalists are joining forces against the rise of immigration. This is not a small thing. Trust me, I know firsthand. It's a good point. Geordie Witch says, successive governments have ignored the frustration of the UK citizens for too long. Frustration and anger are at boiling point. Either the government listens and acts, or these scenes will become the norm. And this is the problem, by the way, because what Geordie Witch said is spot on. But the authorities in the United Kingdom, do you know what they do with this? They monitor that comment. They will try to find out where this person lives. And they say, this person, I'm just using as an example, by the way, don't freak out. Someone like that, but if you have a proper name and face and everything else. If I say what this person said, if I say that, they say, Maya Tusi is instigating the riots. Maya Tusi is promoting it. Because you make a prediction. If you don't fix it, this will happen. They would see it as a threat. Every single time. You saw what happened last year after Southport, the massacre, when people came out. It was the people who didn't come out who got into trouble even more by expressing their opinions. And no, they were not all inciting violence. We already know inciting violence is a crime anyway. There were insensitive comments, for example. I don't care about your feelings. Oopsie Daisy says, yes, we are all very tolerant. Tolerance is to endure something of which you know it is not good for you, either in amount or time. And this is a very good point, by the way, because liberals in the UK always claim one of the best things about the British culture is tolerance. So when you ask them, what are British values? What's the British culture? The liberals always say, tolerance. The word tolerance is not a good word. And as this person said, tolerance could also mean, most of the time, you have to tolerate something, which is something you don't necessarily like, which also means tolerance will have a limit. Now, what you want, and if you're liberal, if you want to promote some sort of value, you should promote acceptance. Now, I don't want people in this kingdom, or in the Republic of Ireland, or in France, to accept bad ideas. I don't want them to accept ideologies that go against their own culture. So tolerance is not necessarily a good thing that all these liberals keep promoting. V6 says that the battle lines have been drawn, Catholics and Protestants together against the Sinn Féin and the police. The next question is the IRA being separate from Sinn Féin. Well, as some IRA think Sinn Féin are too establishment, too political these days, yeah. Will those IRAs start on them and support the public? Well, it depends how active they want to get. But also, Sinn Féin have become so left-wing establishment that they're a little bit wishy-washy. And I'm not necessarily defending the violent IRA types back in the day. I'm simply saying they had a different culture. Look at the current leadership of Sinn Féin. For example, in terms of the mentality of Sinn Féin that as a political party, the left-wing party, in case you don't know, both these guys, they're sister parties, both in the Republic of Ireland and in the UK, Northern Ireland. Look at the state of the leadership. Firstly, you look at them. Do you think that they could be like violent thugs these days, like the likes of Jerry Adams back in the day? These guys can't. And by the way, maybe it's a good thing because you don't want them to become violent, but they have become very, very soft and political. So you might see it as a peaceful thing, but their ideology is still very much divisive, by the way. Susie says in Israeli news, 5 years, 8 workers were killed today. Yeah, by Hamas, and some are feared to have been taken hostage. Not a single media source has mentioned. Yes, we will cover this properly as well. Thank you, Susie. Kafir Revolution says, I cannot afford taxes that go to fund the far left ideology, which ironically largely benefits the rich, champagne socialists. And Page Jazir to the globalist left-backed Islamists. And my family also fled their home from Islamic extremist ideology for it to be welcomed warmly in the West. Makes me a bit more than miffed, honestly. Yeah. I fully understand that one. My mother. Seems the big game by the elites is simply chaos, so they can swoop in and rule with an iron fist. Left, right, they don't seem to care, just setting up the conflicts. Yeah, so the whole point of destruction and chaos is that they could always present themselves as your saviors. Forever saviors, and you'll be forever the victims who have to depend on them. They said they could save your life. Disgusting. Asima says, just watch the latest Heretics with Dr. David Betts. This is the start of the civil war. Doesn't look very promising over the next 5 years. Stay safe, people. Gary says the Northern Ireland authorities have been out saying that the riots are not part of our way of life. They fail to mention neither is the systemic abuse of children. I suppose that their welfare and their safety does not matter. Okay, with all due respect to people in Northern Ireland, by the way, you guys have had a bit of history with riots and violence in the past. So I'm not really sure what the authorities are talking about. Whether justified or not, my point is it's not necessarily like people in central London, just wishy-washy snowflakes. Rocky Mama says, we all feel like our culture and identity is being taken away. I don't know the Western leaders are why they're surprised that people are rising. Love from Canada. Thank you, Rocky Mama from Canada. Moneybag says, I wonder if it's going to be as bad as LA. Well, I mean, there are different versions of anger. The other anger in LA and now across the cities in the US is mostly paid for by globalist organizations, you know who, and a lot of them are paid actors. So, and they're professional protesters and rioters, the left who are burning down cities in the United States again today. All right, where are we with the super chats? Happy birthday, Maya from Chile. Thank you very much. And hello to everybody watching from Chile and other places in the world. Ivan says, they have to watch us, patriotic terrorists. Yeah, I forgot. Actually, to be fair, what I said makes no sense now, that they do monitor those who are nationalists and patriots, actually legally, because there's a new prevent guidance, in case you don't know, in the United Kingdom as of last week. If you're basically patriotic, you could be classified as a terrorist. It's not even a joke. That's actually what's happening in the UK. I mean, I wish it was a joke, but it's actually happening. Clark says, your government has sold you out. Yeah. Super sticker from Tina as well. Let's get some non-super chats as well. Ashfield says, Northern Irish here. This issue is actually bringing Catholics and Protestants together. It's an issue we agree on. Yes, about time. Wayne says, I wonder when the government is going to stop blaming Tommy. Yes, I did actually. I wanted to text him earlier, Tommy, because I saw he was sharing some of the videos. I was going to say, you do realize you're just sharing it as a journalist. They're going to come for you. They're going to blame it on you. Although, and actually, last time when the riots were happening in England last summer, Tommy Robinson wasn't in the country, and they blamed it on him. And this time, Tommy Robinson is not in the country, so they might still blame him anyway. Oh God. Anyway, so we will have to wait. Let me just double check to see if we have any more imminent update from the situation in Northern Ireland. We are waiting for the latest footage to also arrive and some statements from the authorities. PS and I have been a little bit just very blanket, black and white. As I said, they just all the statements we were getting from the police in Northern Ireland is that everybody who's out is basically a racist. That's the line. And everybody who's out is violent, even though a huge chunk of people who were out were simply protesting. They were angry, but they were protesting. But that's what you're dealing with. Also, there is a bit of a situation. In case you don't know, let me just show you the contrast of what's happening in England today, while in Northern Ireland people are angry and trying to protect their communities. In England, in London, I believe, the political left are out. So we got those who are patriotic, flying the flag of the country, saying we want to protect women and children, right? Our way of life. The political left are out in the UK, in England today, flying the communist flag.
We won't fight the rich man's war!
We won't fight the rich man's war!
We believe in revolution!
We believe in revolution!
Hands up, yeah, man!
Hands up, yeah, man!
We believe in liberation!
Revolution, revolution!
Revolution, revolution!
Revolution, revolution!
Just to show the example, the difference between the middle class champagne socialists or the limousine liberals or the commie, I can't use the next C word that I wanted to use, but you know where this was going. The communists, the Marxists, the smelly weirdos, they are out and they want to ruin our way of life, and they are in alliance with Islam. On that lovely note, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to take advantage of our limited offer because it's my birthday week, 37. So use the promo code 2C37 now. You will get 37% off annual memberships of 2CTV Plus. You can do it by going directly on 2c.tv. The link is also in the description under the video, and you will take it to the website. You can check it out, and of course download the 2CTV app for free. Check out the website and the app. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Maya 2C, and we are the media.